Emma woke slowly to the first soft hints of sunlight slipping through the thin curtains, a warm golden glow spilling across the room, brushing her face and hands, coaxing her from a deep, dream-filled sleep that lingered like a fog she could almost touch. She blinked a few times, trying to remember the fragments of a dream that dissolved the moment her eyes opened, feeling the quiet hum of morning in the air, the way it wrapped around the edges of her room like a soft blanket, comforting and familiar. She stretched languidly, her body savoring the ease of not having to move too quickly, when she suddenly heard a faint creak of the bedroom door, soft but deliberate, a sound that carried an unspoken hesitation, a presence that made her pulse pick up just slightly. She turned her head, curiosity piqued, and her eyes fell on her son Liam, who stood there awkwardly, clutching something in his small hands, eyes wide, a mixture of uncertainty and urgency that made Emma's heart skip in a way she hadn't expected. Liam's gaze darted toward her, then down at the object he held, a small crumpled piece of paper that looked like it had been carefully preserved despite its folds and faded edges. "Mom," he said quietly, voice low, almost hesitant, carrying a weight that Emma couldn't yet understand. She shifted on the bed, her body instinctively leaning forward, sensing that something significant was about to happen, something that would pull her into a moment outside the ordinary rhythm of her morning. Liam stepped closer, carefully, almost as if moving too quickly would break an invisible barrier, and handed her the paper. I found this in the attic," he admitted, his words trembling slightly, "and I thought you should see it." Emma took the paper gently, her fingers brushing against his briefly, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the sunlight, a connection that was both tender and fragile. As she unfolded the letter, the paper crackled softly, each sound echoing in the quiet room, and she began to read, eyes widening as she recognized the careful, faded handwriting, a script that spoke of someone's long-held thoughts, dreams, and feelings. The letter was addressed to a name she hadn't thought of in years, Mara, and it spoke of longing, unspoken words, hopes, and regrets that seemed suspended in time. Emma's mind raced as she tried to place the memories that surfaced with each line, a mix of nostalgia, curiosity, and a strange ache that she couldn't name. Liam stood silently, his small frame tense, watching her reactions, sensing the stir of emotions but unsure how to navigate them, the quiet between them filled with the hum of something unspoken but significant. The sunlight caught the edges of the paper, illuminating tiny creases, tiny folds, making the letter seem almost sacred in its simplicity, and Emma felt her chest tighten, the words stirring something deep inside her, memories she hadn't thought of, a sense of a life that had once been different, lighter, yet shadowed by choices and circumstances that time had shaped. Liam shifted, fidgeting slightly, the paper still clutched loosely in his hand, and Emma realized that while he was just a boy, he seemed older in that moment, carrying an awareness that surprised her. "Where did you find this?" she asked softly, her voice trembling slightly, a whisper almost swallowed by the morning air. Liam hesitated, eyes flicking toward the door, then back to the paper, then back at her. "It was under some old boxes," he said finally. "In the attic. I didn't know what it was, but I felt like you should see it first." Emma nodded, her mind already spinning with questions, not just about the letter itself but about the history it held, the connections it might reveal, and the emotions it might awaken. She glanced at Liam, really looked at him, noticing how much he had grown, how his expression mirrored the curiosity and caution she had always seen in herself, and a soft ache hit her in the chest, an awareness of how fleeting time could be, how quickly children grew into people with their own inner lives and secrets. Liam's presence in the room felt unusually significant, as if this small, tentative act of showing her a letter had created a bridge between them, a moment suspended in time where past and present, mother and son, intertwined with an unspoken intimacy that was profound and gentle. Emma looked back at the letter, scanning the words again, feeling a pull of emotion she hadn't expected, a mixture of surprise, nostalgia, and a tender sense of vulnerability that made her heart flutter. She realized that the letter, simple though it seemed, carried layers of emotion, history, and longing, and she could sense the way it connected not just to her past but to the life she had built, to the people she had loved, and to the person she had become. Liam shifted again, this time a little more boldly, stepping closer to her side as though offering silent support, a reminder that he was there, and that together they could explore whatever this morning had unexpectedly revealed. Emma felt a warmth in her chest, a combination of gratitude, curiosity, and affection, recognizing that these small, quiet moments, letters found, early mornings, shared discoveries, were the ones that often carried the deepest meaning, shaping relationships and memories in ways that grand gestures could not. As she continued to read, she noticed subtle details in the handwriting, slight smudges, the careful choice of words, all suggesting a story of someone's life, emotions, and dreams, paused and preserved in ink on paper, waiting to be rediscovered. Liam watched her intently, sensing her emotions even if he couldn't fully understand them, feeling a quiet pride in having found something that mattered, something that created a connection between them that went beyond ordinary daily routines. Emma's mind wandered, piecing together memories and possibilities, imagining who Mara might have been, what dreams she had harbored, and how the words in this letter might reflect experiences, emotions, and desires that had been hidden away but were now surfacing in the soft light of the morning. She felt a shiver of anticipation, a sense that this moment, the quiet room, the soft sunlight, the small paper in her hands, and her son standing beside her, was the beginning of something significant, a story that would unfold in layers of emotion, discovery, and shared understanding. Liam shifted once more, glancing toward the window, where the garden outside seemed to shimmer in the morning light, as if inviting them both to step beyond the room, beyond the immediate moment, toward a journey neither of them fully understood but both were ready to explore. Emma looked at him, a smile touching her lips despite the uncertainty, recognizing that some moments in life arrived unannounced, quietly yet profoundly, shaping hearts and memories in ways that linger far beyond the first glance or the initial discovery. The room seemed to hold its breath with them, the gentle hum of morning outside blending with the quiet, tentative energy between mother and son, the letter acting as a bridge between past and present, awakening emotions that were tender, complex, and deeply human. Emma placed the letter down carefully on the bed, still folded and slightly crumpled from handling, and turned her gaze fully toward Liam, sensing the weight of the moment, the subtle gravity of a simple act that carried layers of emotion, memory, and unspoken understanding. Liam met her eyes, shy but steady, feeling a sense of pride and connection, aware that this was not just about the letter but about the trust, curiosity, and shared experience they were now part of. Emma reached out instinctively, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead, a small tender gesture that conveyed love, reassurance, and gratitude, a wordless acknowledgement of the significance of the moment. She felt her heart swell with affection, a gentle warmth that spread through her chest and lingered as she realized how precious such mornings could be, how the smallest discoveries could create bonds, memories, and emotional resonance that lasted far beyond the quiet of the early day. Liam stepped back slightly, still holding the sense of anticipation and curiosity that had brought him to her room, the soft tension in the air a mix of excitement and reverence for the discovery they had made together. Emma took a deep breath, feeling the morning stretch endlessly around them, filled with light, possibilities, and the delicate promise of connection, and she knew that this simple act, the discovery of a letter, the quiet presence of her son, the soft, golden sunlight, was a beginning, a doorway to understanding, emotion, and shared experience that neither of them could have anticipated but both would carry with them in memory and heart. The morning stretched onward, gentle yet significant, filled with the promise of discovery, the quiet thrill of unearthing hidden stories, and the tender, unspoken bond that now wove mother and son together in a way that felt sacred, fragile, and deeply human, leaving them both poised on the edge of something profound, something waiting to unfold in the hours and days to come. And as the soft light continued to fill the room, Emma's gaze fell once more on the letter, realizing that life had a way of surprising you when you least expected it, that moments of wonder and connection often arrived quietly, in the simplest gestures, and that this morning, this unexpected, gentle intrusion of curiosity and discovery, would remain with her forever, shaping not only her day but the quiet, tender chapters of her heart that were yet to be written. Emma followed Liam down the narrow hallway, her heart still fluttering from the morning's unexpected discovery, the letter burning softly in her pocket like a secret she wasn't ready to release, while Liam's small but purposeful steps led the way to the attic, a place neither of them had visited in years, a dusty room filled with forgotten memories, the smell of old wood and aged paper wrapping around them like a ghost of the past that whispered of stories waiting to be told. The stairs creaked under their weight, each sound echoing faintly, a reminder of how time moved steadily forward yet left traces of itself behind, and Emma felt a mix of curiosity and trepidation, knowing this visit would uncover more than just old boxes, that the attic held fragments of lives that had been paused, preserved, and now demanded attention, a living museum of moments both joyful and painful. Liam paused briefly at the doorway, glancing back at her with a quiet anticipation, eyes wide with the awareness that something significant was about to happen, and Emma nodded almost imperceptibly, stepping in carefully, feeling the air grow cooler and heavier, the dust motes floating like tiny stars in the sunlight that filtered through the small attic window, illuminating stacks of forgotten books, trunks, and crates, each one a potential treasure trove of memories and emotions waiting to be unlocked. Liam moved to the first trunk, his fingers brushing against the worn leather surface, hesitant at first, then more confident, and with a soft grunt, he lifted the lid, revealing a collection of letters, photographs, and delicate trinkets, some wrapped in yellowed paper, others tied with ribbon, each piece humming softly with history and a kind of quiet magic that made Emma's chest tighten, a mix of anticipation, nostalgia, and a strange ache she couldn't name. She stepped closer, examining the items carefully, noticing a photograph of a younger version of herself laughing with someone whose face was just out of reach in her memory, the edges frayed and slightly curled, a captured moment of joy and connection, and she felt a sudden longing, a pang for days that seemed simpler yet carried their own shadows, and Liam watched silently, his presence steady and supportive, the unspoken bond between them growing as they sifted through the relics of the past together. Emma picked up a small locket, opening it to reveal a faded picture, a fragment of someone's heart preserved in silver and glass, and she traced the outline with her finger, feeling the emotions embedded in it, imagining the stories it held, and Liam leaned closer, curiosity and reverence in his eyes, sensing the weight of the moment even if he could not fully articulate it, and for a heartbeat, the room felt suspended in time, a bridge between past and present, between mother and son, filled with unspoken understanding and the quiet thrill of discovery. As Emma continued to explore the trunk, she uncovered more letters, folded carefully, ink faded but still legible, each one a voice from the past expressing hopes, regrets, and longing, and she felt a strange resonance, as if the words were speaking not just to her but through her, connecting her to emotions she had buried and moments she had long forgotten. And Liam shifted, adjusting his stance, the soft scrape of his shoes against the wooden floor punctuating the stillness, a reminder that they were alive, present, and part of a shared experience that was quietly shaping them both. One letter in particular caught Emma's attention, the handwriting delicate yet confident, expressing dreams and vulnerabilities, moments of courage and doubt, a yearning for connection and understanding that mirrored feelings she had carried silently within herself for years, and she felt a shiver run through her, a recognition that some stories never truly end but wait patiently for someone to rediscover them, to breathe life into them once more. Liam reached for a small bundle tied with ribbon, hands slightly trembling, and Emma gently guided him, feeling the warmth of his touch, the tenderness of his curiosity, and the profound simplicity of a shared moment that needed no words, just presence and attention, a mutual understanding of discovery, memory, and the quiet power of connection. As they moved through the attic, opening drawers and trunks, lifting boxes and sifting through papers, Emma noticed the little details she had missed before, the way the sunlight hit a particular stack of letters, the way dust motes danced in the light, the faint scent of aged paper and wood, a sensory symphony that made the past feel alive, tangible, almost breathing alongside them, and Liam responded naturally, pointing out a photograph here, a letter there, his small voice carrying excitement, curiosity, and a hint of pride that he had discovered these hidden treasures and shared them with her. Emma felt her emotions swell, a mixture of nostalgia, longing, joy, and a gentle ache, the kind that comes when one realizes that life is fleeting, that moments, people, and experiences can slip through your fingers if not cherished, and Liam seemed to sense this, standing close yet giving her space, understanding in his own quiet way that discovery was as much about presence and patience as it was about uncovering objects. She found a letter addressed to Mara, the same name that had appeared in the morning letter, and her heart quickened, realizing that this story was unfolding in layers, each discovery leading to another, a chain of memories and emotions that connected her past with the present, and Liam's eyes followed her reactions closely, reflecting concern, curiosity, and admiration, a quiet acknowledgement that these moments mattered profoundly, even if the meaning was still forming. Emma picked up a photograph of herself with someone from long ago, a fleeting memory of laughter, connection, and shared dreams, and she traced the contours of the faces, the smiles, the expressions frozen in time, feeling a deep, resonant ache for days when life had seemed both simpler and more intense, and Liam leaned against a nearby trunk, silently supporting her, letting her emotions unfold without interruption, an unspoken partnership forming as they navigated the layers of history together. A small trinket box caught her eye intricately, carved and delicate, and when she opened it, she found miniature keepsakes. A pressed flower, a tiny note, a lock of hair, each piece whispering stories of tenderness, love, and longing, and Emma felt tears prick at her eyes, a wave of emotion that was both gentle and powerful, filling the room with a quiet intensity that Liam seemed to absorb fully, recognizing that these moments were about more than objects. They were glimpses into the heart of people who had lived, loved, and hoped, and now their echoes touched them both. She gently handed Liam a letter to examine, and as he held it, his expression shifted from curiosity to quiet reflection, a recognition that these pieces of the past carried significance beyond what they could immediately see, a silent lesson about empathy, understanding, and the beauty of human connection across time. And Emma smiled softly at him, pride and love mingling in her chest, grateful for his presence and the way he navigated the unfolding story beside her. The attic seemed to breathe with them, the sunlight shifting as the morning progressed, illuminating details they had overlooked before, the faded ink, the subtle textures of paper and fabric, the careful folds and creases that marked care and attention from decades past, and Emma felt a swell of reverence for these simple gestures of life captured in objects, an awareness that each item told a story, held an emotion, and now carried new meaning in the hands of a mother and son discovering them together. Liam reached for a small, bound journal, its cover worn and delicate, and Emma encouraged him to open it carefully, feeling a thrill of anticipation as the pages revealed personal reflections, sketches and notes, snapshots of someone's inner world preserved in ink, and together they read snippets aloud, sometimes pausing to reflect, sometimes laughing softly at the quirks and insights, the intimacy of these words bridging years, connecting them to lives and emotions they had never met but could feel, almost as if time itself was folding around them, creating a shared space of empathy, understanding, and gentle wonder. As the morning sunlight grew stronger, casting long shadows across the attic floor, Emma and Liam continued to sift through letters, photographs, and mementos, each discovery building upon the last, a tapestry of human experience, emotion, and longing that spoke to them in quiet, profound ways, and Emma realized that this moment, born from a simple morning curiosity, had become a journey into memory, identity, and connection, one that neither she nor Liam would soon forget, a journey that held the promise of further revelations, deeper understanding, and a renewed appreciation for the fragility and beauty of life. Just as Emma set down a particularly striking photograph, she heard a faint sound from the front door below, a soft knock, deliberate and insistent, and both she and Liam froze, their hearts quickening with curiosity and a touch of apprehension, the quiet intensity of the attic suddenly juxtaposed with the unknown visitor below. Reminder that life often interrupted even the most private of moments with unexpected opportunities for connection, revelation, or change, and Emma knew instinctively that this knock would alter the course of their morning, introducing a new element to the story that had already begun to unfold so gently yet profoundly. Liam's eyes met hers, wide and questioning, and she smiled softly, a mixture of reassurance and anticipation, knowing that together they would face whatever the morning held, that the attic, the letters, and the quiet discoveries had prepared them for more than just memories. They had prepared them for the unfolding of life itself, with all its mysteries, emotions, and tender surprises, leaving them poised on the edge of the next chapter, hearts open, senses alert, and spirits connected, ready to embrace whatever awaited beyond the attic door. Emma descended the attic stairs slowly, each step echoing softly in the quiet house, her heart still racing from the discoveries she and Liam had made, the letters, photographs, and trinkets revealing stories that stretched across decades, connecting past and present in a way that felt almost magical, and Liam followed closely, his small hand brushing hers briefly in a silent gesture of reassurance and connection, their shared curiosity creating a gentle bond that seemed to pulse through the air around them. The hallway was bathed in morning light, warm and soft, making the dust particles dance like tiny golden stars, and Emma could feel the quiet tension of anticipation building in her chest, a mix of curiosity, nostalgia, and an unspoken hope that something extraordinary was waiting just beyond the front door, something that would continue the story the attic had begun, deepening the sense of connection she already felt with her son and the mysteries they had uncovered together. As she reached the bottom of the stairs, a faint sound made them both pause, a knock at the front door, soft yet deliberate, carrying a presence that felt significant, almost predestined, and Emma's mind raced with possibilities, wondering who could arrive so early and how this visitor might weave into the morning's unfolding story, while Liam's eyes widened, a mixture of excitement and apprehension reflecting on his face, silently asking the question she herself had yet to answer. Emma moved toward the door cautiously, her fingers trembling slightly as she lifted the latch, the air around her thick with anticipation, and when she opened it, a woman stood there, radiating warmth and calm, her eyes familiar in a way that tugged at Emma's memory, as if she had known them long before this precise moment, and the envelope she held seemed almost to hum with significance, an unspoken promise that something important was about to be revealed. "I think this belongs to you," the woman said softly, her voice gentle but confident, carrying a kind of authority that demanded attention yet comforted at the same time, and Emma took the envelope with hands that shook ever so slightly, feeling the weight of not only the paper but the emotions it represented, the layers of story and history folded within, connecting her past, present, and perhaps even future in ways she could not yet fully comprehend, while Liam peered curiously over her shoulder, sensing the importance of the moment and the subtle shift in the energy of their morning. Emma unfolded the envelope carefully, the paper inside delicate and slightly yellowed at the edges, and as she read, she felt a mixture of awe, longing, and wonder, recognizing the handwriting instantly from the letters in the attic, the style familiar yet haunting, as if time itself had preserved a fragment of a heart long silent, waiting to be rediscovered, and Liam watched silently, his small face full of curiosity and empathy, understanding that this was more than just words on paper, but a story, a connection, and a revelation that spanned years and hearts. The letter explained in careful, heartfelt phrases a story of love, regret, and hope that had been paused for decades, a message meant to reach Emma across time, connecting her to someone she had thought lost, someone whose presence had left a void in her memory and heart, and she felt an ache, a blend of sorrow and relief as the words washed over her. A tide of emotions she hadn't realized she was holding, emotions that suddenly felt tangible and urgent, demanding acknowledgement and reflection. Liam shifted beside her, sensing the intensity of her emotions, yet he remained quiet, a supportive presence, a reminder that life's most significant moments often did not require words, just understanding, empathy, and shared attention. And in that silence, Emma felt a deep connection to him, recognizing the gift of having a companion in both discovery and reflection, someone with whom she could navigate the complex landscape of memory, longing, and revelation. She read passages aloud softly, allowing the words to fill the space, each phrase steeped in emotion and history, and as the sentences flowed, she felt herself being drawn into the experiences of another life, another heart, feeling joy, sorrow, hope, and yearning as though they were her own, and Liam leaned closer, eyes wide, absorbing the nuances of feeling, the subtle power of words to bridge distance, time, and emotion, the quiet intimacy of mother and son sharing this transformative moment, binding them together more deeply than any ordinary day could. The woman at the door smiled gently, observing them with patience, her presence calm yet significant, a silent assurance that this exchange was sacred, that the story unfolding was meant to be experienced fully, that the past had found its way into the present in the gentlest, most profound manner, and Emma felt an almost spiritual resonance, as if the universe itself had orchestrated this moment of revelation, connection, and emotional depth, allowing her to feel both the weight of what had been lost and the beauty of what had been found. As she continued to read, Emma discovered not only the story of love and longing but subtle hints of lessons learned, apologies given and unspoken, the resilience of the human heart, and the enduring power of hope, and she realized that the morning's journey, beginning with a simple letter in her son's hand, had led to a profound awakening, a recognition that life was full of moments waiting to be discovered, feelings waiting to be acknowledged, and connections waiting to be honored. Liam's presence, quiet yet attentive, reminded her that this journey was not hers alone, that life's revelations and emotional growth were amplified when shared with someone who cared deeply, someone whose understanding was not dependent on age but on heart, and she felt a swell of gratitude for his steady presence, his curiosity, and the way he seemed to instinctively honor the significance of the unfolding story without interrupting it with unnecessary chatter or distraction. The sunlight streaming through the door illuminated the envelope and its contents, casting a soft glow that seemed to echo the warmth of the moment, and Emma felt the room itself transform, the ordinary morning evolving into a sacred space of discovery, memory, and emotional resonance, where past and present converged, where mother and son stood at the threshold of something deeply meaningful, and where the promise of connection and understanding stretched beyond the attic, the letters, and the envelope to touch their hearts in a permanent, unforgettable way. She folded the letter carefully after reading, clutching it to her chest, feeling the thrum of emotion and revelation settle within her, a mixture of heartbreak, hope, and awe. And Liam looked up at her, eyes reflecting both wonder and recognition, sensing that this morning had altered the way they saw their world, their past, and each other, and that the bond forged through shared discovery and emotion would remain unbroken, guiding them forward through the day, the months, and the years. Emma glanced at the woman, who now turned to leave with a quiet nod, a gesture that carried acknowledgement, closure, and encouragement, and she realized that the story they had uncovered was both a gift and a responsibility, a reminder to cherish moments, honor emotions, and embrace connections with clarity and heart. And Liam reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining naturally, a tangible symbol of the intimacy, support, and love that had grown throughout the morning's revelations. As they stepped into the living room, sunlight spilling fully across the floor, Emma felt a sense of completion yet also anticipation, a knowledge that life's surprises often arrived in quiet, unexpected ways, and that the past had a way of gently guiding the present, bringing clarity, emotional depth, and unexpected joy. Liam's eyes met hers, a silent acknowledgement of everything they had shared, a recognition that this morning had changed them both in subtle but profound ways. And Emma smiled, a mixture of relief, pride, and love filling her chest, understanding that the journey through the attic, the letters, and the envelope was not just about discovery, but about growth, empathy, and the enduring power of shared experiences. And she knew in that moment that they would carry this morning forever, a reminder of connection, tenderness, and the beauty of life's quiet, profound surprises. The day stretched before them, filled with possibilities, emotions, and the lingering magic of the morning's revelations, and Emma felt a deep gratitude for the unexpected journey that had begun simply with a letter in her son's hands, realizing that life often unfolded its most meaningful chapters when least expected, that love, understanding, and emotional resonance transcended time, and that the bonds forged in moments like these between mother and son, between past and present, and between hearts willing to feel, would shape their lives in ways that were both gentle and everlasting. And as they moved forward into the day together, Emma felt the profound truth of the morning's experience settling within her, a quiet, glowing warmth that promised hope, connection, and a deeper appreciation for the fragile, beautiful, and unpredictable nature of life, leaving her and Liam poised for whatever discoveries, joys, or surprises awaited next, hearts open, spirits aligned, and memories of this morning etched indelibly into their souls, a testament to the power of love, understanding, and the simple, transformative magic of sharing life's revelations with someone who truly matters.